Matteo, how you doing?
Daniel, I'm doing great. Better now than 2 weeks ago for sure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah,
I'll ask you about the fires. Just
yeah.
just two blue blocker maxis hanging out on a video call.
It makes it makes a difference, man. If you spend a lot of time on a screen, it makes a difference. Eventually, like the eyes will just, give me a break, please. Now with
Yep.
this, no breaks,
So
24/7.
you've gone down the blue blocker rabbit hole clearly, but
Yeah.
you have the brain fryers, the
Oh
AirPods
boy.
still in your ears. So you've not gone down the
I
non-native EMF, or you have, and you're just like whatever, one thing at a time.
I have no, I have no idea. Is this bad? Are you saying this is bad?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Listen to Jack Cruz. Listen to a few of his podcasts, and yeah,
I will. I will.
he'll get you up to speed. But otherwise, yeah, good to see you safe, mate. We obviously had the fire event. Talk us through it. What happened as far as your life
Well,
changing?
it was very quick. I was working here, in my office, and then my wife goes, "Oh, have you seen the smoke?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever," like classic, you know. And then I went to pick up my daughter at preschool, and one of the other dad said, "Happy Fire Day." And I'm like, "What kind of joke is that?" I didn't realize what was going on. And then I was driving back home. So basically, I live 2 miles from the fires, south. So Pacific Palisades, it's north of me. And what was gonna say? And yes, I was driving back home, and literally the sun, you couldn't see the sun. It was like 4 p.m., right? So full day, and there was a huge cloud of smoke, and you couldn't see the sun. I was like, wow, this is interesting. So I start checking, Twitter or X, and I figure, okay, this is not, this is something serious. And then, but then I spend the night basically driving around, keeping an eye, um, just trying to assess the situation of whether we should leave. My wife is pregnant, 8 months pregnant. I don't really want to leave the house, right? We have a young child, and so I literally drove around. I met this guy that was evacuated, and he told me, "Oh yes, my house is, in the Palisades." And he goes, "Yeah, the insurance is so expensive. I can't believe it. Blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Okay, how much? How much are you paying?" I was like, "Yeah, it's $200,000 a year." I'm like, "Wow, that's a lot. I mean, how big? Like, how expensive is the house? Like, what's the?" It's like, "Oh, it's about $10 million, which now it's zero." But I'm like, man, this is how you shouldn't be living in there. When your insurance is like, obviously I didn't tell him, but anyway, so Tuesday night, didn't sleep, TV on Twitter all the time, trying to assess this. And then Wednesday, the next day, I'm like, I'm in the house. We have a lot of air filter in the house, even before this thing. Now we have even more. I don't know, my wife's obsessed with air filter. And my eyes were burning, and I'm like, it's not a good sign. Let's get out of here. And so we left on a Wednesday, so 24 hours after the fire started. And funny enough, we ended up for the first night as somebody from Orange Club, which DM'd me the night before. And I'm like, hey man, like he's out of LA, right? If you need a spot, just let me know. And I'm like, yeah, you're far from LA. Like if I evacuate, I'm not gonna go. I have plenty of friends in LA. But then it's like, yeah, then there was another fire and another fire. It was like I'm sure there was some arsonists behind this. The wind was super strong, like 100 miles an hour wind. So you figure, it makes no sense to evacuate from one neighborhood to another. And so I told the guy, hey man, if the offer is still available, I'll take it. And so we stayed one night there, and then we ended up at my in-laws, like north of California, middle of nowhere, freshest air ever. And I was monitoring from afar. And the house was we got lucky because the wind were from this. So the wind that caused one of the reasons why we had this massive fire is because of the Santa Ana winds, and they're south of LA, and because we were south of the fire, the wind pushed the fire north. And so although we were very close to the fire, we didn't get, the house didn't get burned. When I was evacuated, actually, my main worry was the looters, because there's nobody around. It's like a ghost town. And but we came back like 5-6 days later. They didn't even. I had packages, so somehow Amazon delivered no matter what.
Man, that's
I got
crazy. I remember
plenty of
the picture you
deliveries.
sent. Well, you sent us
Right.
the picture of like how far away you were from the perimeter of the fire. That was like
Yeah.
shockingly close. And then the
Yeah.
picture of like your Amazon packages that had been delivered to the front door and were sitting there. I'm like,
Beautiful.
what?
Welcome to America. The Amazon guy probably was wearing like a hazmat, like the suit. But yeah, so the looters didn't even get the packages. So obviously there was no looting in our neighborhood. But I was prepared. I got the gun out of the safe, and I slept on the couch for a couple of nights. Gun literally under the couch, loaded, just in case, right?
Mhm,
And then I was like, okay, I'm going back to the bedroom.
mhm.
Yeah, so now it's like 20 days. No, I guess 15 days. The funny thing is that when I was evacuated, I look at this, I look at the scene, I look at the images. I'm like, wow, this is, pretty bad. I still haven't been able to go to the area because there's a National Guard. They don't let anybody in. But I was like, oh, Los Angeles is never gonna be the same. Like, this is. And then I came back, and it's like nothing changed. Like literally, like, and you know how close I was, right? Like, you would not know there was the biggest fire maybe in the United States history, most likely. Yeah, so Los Angeles is so big, even though I was very close, it's like business as usual. Like, I
Wow.
thought like, oh my God, it's gonna like, the traffic problem is solved because 100,000 people have left, and maybe more people would have leave because they don't want to live in traffic as usual. And this is just like a couple of days after. It's amazing, like how resilient and how spread out Los Angeles is. It was very interesting to see. But yeah, so yeah, back in back home, no fires, no looting,
Oh,
business
were
as
you?
usual.
Did you have that moment where you're halfway to your friend's house to evacuate and you think, "Fuck, where are the seed words? Where's did I pick up the wallets?"
Well, uh, yes. I mean, no, not really, because I this is not very Bitcoin maxi of me, but I don't do self custody, and maybe we can get into this. Actually, had some controversial tweet about self custody. Now I know that there can only be 200 million transactions per year on a blockchain. So even if everybody was self custodying, I think Knut made this calculation once, or somebody. Like if everybody was self-custody, you could do 2 transactions per decade. So, because 200 million transactions per year, right? It's the capacity of the Bitcoin blockchain. And there's like, I don't know, 200 million people have a Bitcoin, right? Whatever. And if everybody was on chain, one transaction to open a channel, Lightning, whatever it may be, it's like, so I've never been, so I have many wallets. I probably have all of them, just in case. So the same way I have a gun in my house. I have it. I don't want to use it, but I have it. And yeah, I don't do self custody. And while I was seeing all this, I know some people have lost their Bitcoin because of these fires.
Hmm.
Because I think the temperature of these fires went to 2,000 Celsius. Literally, like the engine of cars melted. So if you had even the seat plate, like the one that's titanium, I don't think it's still there. I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's so many, and I don't want to discourage. So if people are listening, do self-custody if you can. Learn about UTX management, which otherwise you might get in trouble. And it's think about all the scenarios that can go wrong. And once you think, which is a lot more than most people realize. And once you think about all these scenarios and you understand UTX management, and you understand that if we go into hyper Bitcoinization, your one Bitcoin or two Bitcoin might be the cost of a transaction at some point in the future. Maybe not one, but maybe 10 million sats, right? Whatever. Very high fees. And so, yeah, personally, I don't do self-custody. I mean, I have all the wallets, so if I have to, I can do it like in one click, but I don't do it. So for me, it was very easy.
I remember I saw you put that tweet out about something along the lines of this is going to trigger a few people, blah blah blah. And I was thinking,
Yeah.
I had in my mind the classic, uh-oh, that's bait. And yeah, sure enough, it's
I mean,
it's
it's
kicked
true.
off.
It's but my other problem was like, I'm only on Bitcoin, right? Like literally, financially, career-wise, and I'm like, I don't really have cash. I don't have stocks. I used to own some real estate. I sold all of that. I literally only have Bitcoin. In fact, the joke I was making with my father-in-law when I was, we went to his house about the looters. I was like, I should have put a sign. Don't bother. We only have Bitcoin here. There's no jewelry. There's like maybe a couple of computers, books, but looters don't steal books. But the point for me was like, if I die, there's no chance in hell my wife will be able to get the Bitcoin. Like doesn't matter how beautiful, like my wife is not very high tech, right? Sometimes I joke she can even send an email. Like, did you send me an email? Yes, I did. Oh, I don't get it. And then, oh, you had to press that button, whatever, She's smart, but she's not technical. And I'm like, if I die, my Bitcoin might be lost forever. My wife doesn't know. Like my kids, it's three anyway. Like I would have to give my seed phrase to some other person, like I don't know, my friends or maybe you. I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, thankfully it's 2025. There is, high quality custodian especially in the United States. So my rules for high quality custodian is actually very simple. It's three things. No shitcoins, number one. If a exchange has shitcoin, avoid. Number two, no leverage. You can buy, you can sell, you can trade. I guess you can call it trading, but you cannot do with leverage. And number three, no yield. No, give me your Bitcoin. I give you some more every month, like BlockFi, Shells. And now, if you look, because I always says, I have debates. I have people that say, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Okay, find me a custodian that have lost Bitcoin or stolen that was not doing one of these three things.
I think the main reason people got triggered on Twitter was probably because they just defaulted to think he's fucking keeping it on Coinbase or something. So
Well, yeah,
that's the default. Like, and obviously, not your keys, not your coins.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So it's better now that we have this nuance in the way that you are thinking about it, and it's not just
Yeah,
just
yeah,
buy
yeah.
and leave it on the exchange. That's clearly not happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's plenty of high quality custodian. Again, the rules is don't shit coins, no leverage, no yield.
Mm-hmm.
The moment they start doing this thing is, well, number one, you lose focus, right? Like as a company, you start losing focus. Like your threat model gets complicated each shitcoin you add, obviously. And so, that's why Coinbase is literally also the worst. Although, they custody more Bitcoins than everybody. Like they custody Michael Saylor Bitcoin is on Coinbase.
Yeah.
Right? The know your key is not your coin, as it is obviously technically true. But again, if you don't understand that there can only be 200 million transactions per year on the blockchain, and maybe we'll find some efficiency gains maybe we'll speed up the blocks. Maybe we'll increase the size. I don't know. I don't think so. You're gonna be forced to give your keys to some custodian at some point in the future, no matter what. Unless you have 100,000 Bitcoin, yeah, then you're fine. If you have 1 or 2 or 3 or less than that, at some point you're gonna have to either pay exorbitant fees to do a transaction, or put it on a custodian, and then they take care of the fees, and they do like they share the UTXO, etc., etc. There is no world where Bitcoin is successful and everybody owns their own UTXO. That's unfortunately, that's maybe you disagree, but
Yeah, I mean, for now, I'm still very much of the mindset of, get control of your Bitcoin, go through
right.
those steps, because I think that is a very important thing to do. A mind shift set comes with that, right? When you hold your own keys, you become way more responsible, more self-sovereign. There is definitely a philosophical and psychological shift that happens in
Yeah.
you. And that raises the consciousness of everybody else, right? And so that's very important step to go through. And obviously, it's completely different for everybody. It's not one size fits all.
Right.
Even if you look at the wallets, right? There are wallet wars. They're all preaching the same thing, but then there are wars over who does it best and who doesn't, and da 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 da. So there's nuance to absolutely every argument. And ultimately, at the end of the day, please, everybody, at least go through that learning process.
Yes.
And if
I
it is
agree.
uncomfortable, start setting rules and permissions for yourself that is going to work. But be rigorous about it. You can't just be like, oh no, day one, no, I can't be bothered. The real cop out stuff is like, oh no, I'm just not technical, and I would lose it, or I would lose my password. So you're basically outsourcing everything. You're not entering into that mindset shift, excuse me. But I'm interested then to know, if that's the 3 criteria, how many companies are out there that offer that? Because obviously in the US, you'll have different services to what we have over on this
Right.
side of the pond. I have a very close relationship with Jesse from OnRamp, and I know OnRamp would cover those 3.
Right.
They're not doing yield or lending, and they're Bitcoin only. You hold your key, and they set up the multi-sig vault for you. Excuse me, you don't hold your key, but you are the only one that can move the funds, and they are split between multi-institutions. And those institutions are geographically displaced as well. So, and that was a new service, 2024. So there's certainly space for somebody that's been stacking for a long time and has self-custodied and has seen the price appreciate and has seen their net worth appreciate, to start thinking about, there is a new service, here's a new game in town. Is this something that I want to think about very seriously? At least have the phone call with them and talk about their inheritance planning, and talk about the insurance as well that they can offer you.
Right.
Obviously, this comes with a yearly fee, but this is the value that they're offering you. So that's one. I mean, do you have a bunch of other options on that side?
Well, I don't want to name names because
well, of course, no.
I
wondered if there was
might
like a list of 5. Then, but
yeah, in the US, you have Strike, right? It's Bitcoin only. They don't do yields. They don't do loans. You have Unchained.
Unchained do loans though.
Oh, they do now? Okay, great.
I think they have.
So,
yeah, River. I'm not sure what River do.
No,
Fold.
River. Yeah, Fold is great. Also another criteria. You want to use, if you're gonna use custodians, you want to use custodians that do proof of reserve.
Yes.
Which I think definitely River does it. I know Alex. I would say, like, generally speaking, like, my favorite in the US is River, right? They do unknown custody, no loan, no yield, no shitcoin, and they do proof of reserve, meaning they publish the address. You can go and check yourself. Fold is great, what was that? Like Casa, now they do Ethereum. So
Ethereum. Yeah, I don't know what they were
I
thinking.
think Casa is great, to be honest with you. But if you want to be strict and having like a rule of thumb, the moment they add the shitcoin, I would just drop them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's like, there's also like a moral argument to be made.
And what are Anchor doing? Because that's Rob and Becky. Have
They do
they?
insurance.
That's
They do
just
insurance.
insurance. Yeah, you literally just buy
Yes.
insurance, or do they offer you a vault and do insurance as
I
well?
I
Or?
am not. I was talking to Rebecca the other day. I'm not very familiar, but I know they do insurance, and I've looked into the model, and now it's not coming to me. But yeah, there is. The more we go into a Bitcoin being mainstream, they're gonna, the ETF in a way, it's kind of
Mhm.
like obviously they're custodian, and now I don't know if you saw that they wanna, would be amazing. They want to let you withdraw Bitcoin, which is actually very interesting. Did
The
you see that?
ETFs, which one?
Yeah, BlackRock. They
BlackRock have said that.
file,
Really?
and the moment Trump got in, so
Mm.
many things have happened, which is literally like 5 minutes ago. So BlackRock has filed with the SEC, I guess, to allow their customer to redeem Bitcoin in kind, which it's very interesting. I guess they must have a lot of demand for that product. But yeah, obviously, I mean, BlackRock is not going to rag you, obviously. It's not going to lose your keys. It's not, now, of course, it's not your key, not your coins, but let me tell you a story because maybe that's helpful. December of 2023, a woman approached me on Orange Club and told me, hey, would you like to sponsor these kids in high school? I want to give them like a hard wallet. I don't know, called like a, not like a dime, like something cheap. And I want to put some Bitcoin on it. And I want to give to like 50 students, 10, whatever it may be. And I said,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
of
the
course,
open
why not?
dimes. Yeah.
Open dance, open dance. And then I was like, this is when the ordinals craze was going on. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, how much you going to put on this wallet? I was, I'm thinking about $50. And I'm like, you can't even do that. Like the fees were $100, I don't know, $70. I don't remember how much it was. It was like, even if it was $20, right? And I'm like, people have no idea what's UTXO management. Even people that are on Orange Flap, they pay to be on Orange Flap, they want to give Bitcoin to somebody. This is obviously not newbies. And then she was like, yeah, I'm gonna put $50. And I'm like, the fees are like $40. Like you're gonna give them nothing, basically. Now today it's zero almost, which is
Mhm.
amazing, but that's a different story. And then I realized from that moment, I stopped saying not your key, not your keys, not your coins anymore, because unless you understand UTXO management, the fees that you have to pay to do a transaction, like DCA $100 a month, and you make a transaction every single time, in 5 years, you might not be able to, they might become dust, meaning the transaction to move this $100 might be more than the value of the UTXO, which means you've lost your Bitcoin. So you can lose your Bitcoin by holding your keys. And there are many, many ways you can actually do that. So it's not as simple as it's not as black and white, not your key, not your coins. It's way more nuanced. And even for me, like I've been on Bitcoin almost 10 years now. Until the ordinals craze, I never really look into UTX management, or sats per V byte. How does it work? How much? Yeah. So it's not as simple as most people realize. And that's why I say, look, learn how to custody your funds 100%. But also realize that, again, fees are a component. You might get hit of your house might burn to the ground in a 2000 Fahrenheit fire. So there's many things to consider before, uh, um, when you consider how you store your Bitcoin, It's not black and white as most people think.
So for those people that are wondering, what's he talking about? UTXO management, UTXO consolidation. They can go back and find an episode 419. That's 419 with Daz, and we just do the deep dive into it. And it's
perfect.
definitely something I wasn't totally on top of until.
Yeah.
And then I actually booked Daz for an hour, and we just I just went. He helped me guide me through, and I was just looking for dust in all of these wallets and finding the dust when the fees were low again, and then consolidating that dust into a nice solid UTXO, and I wasn't paying too much. But that ordinals craze, mate. That pushed my learning.
Yeah, same.
Thankful for it in a way because I learned a lot just listening to Mechanic really over that kind of 9-month period and everything he was bringing to the table, even about centralized mining and worries around that. But anyway, look, we weren't here to talk about freaking self-custody and whatever else, but that's a good little tangent. So you do things differently. Not only did you do what we just talked about, but you launched an orange pill. Well, you launched a dating app for male Bitcoiners, and here we are. And here we are, 15,000 members later. The world's largest circle jerking app.
There's been one wedding, by the way. And,
I know
between a man and a woman.
It's amazing. It's
surprisingly.
It's look, you invited me along for the journey very, very early days, and it's just been so much fun watching it all go, and the troubles that you've faced and managed to skirt around the way it's been built out where it is today. You've got a lot more stuff to talk about, and that's what we wanted to do on this episode in particular. What do you want to do? So first of all, what do you want to talk about? Like the web app, updates to the app, and then the bigger news?
So what happened is I found this guy on Orange Lab a few months ago. It's a funny story. I'll tell you this story. So I found this guy and I said, hey, I'm a developer. Every day somebody sent me that message. I'm a developer. Can I do some work for you? And I say, yeah, sure. So I usually give them I'm not a developer, right? But I've worked with developers for 10 years, maybe more than 10 years. And I've fired 90% of them. And I know what a good developer does. And even though I don't know coding myself, right? So I give them simple tasks and then I just see how they do it, right? I just see how they behave, how they communicate, and how they execute. And then I have my developers in Italy, which are really good developers. And then I kind of get their feedback. I can tell now it's a good development. So anyway, so this guy told me, hey, can I help you? Say, yeah, sure. So give a task, done, beautiful, quick. I was like, okay, good. Let's do some more, right? And then, I would just say, hey, I want to do this. How much? And then he gave me a price in Bitcoin. And that's the task I pay. And so this guy's in Argentina, right? So we have a call. And he goes, his name is Quentin. And he's like, yeah, I'm in Argentina. I'm close to Buenos Aires, blah, 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 blah. I'm half Italian, And I'm like, okay, good, But the accent is not Spanish at all, right? But somehow in my mind, it's Argentina. It's also, he told me it's half Italian. Obviously, Argentina, it's half Italian. Half of the people there from Italy. So I told my wife, hey, I found this guy in Argentina. It's so good. And I'm like, I have no idea. It's like fast, cheap, good, professional. It's like incredible. And I'm like, so my wife works for a big company and they have developers all over the world. And she told me, yes, they're a developer in Colombia and Argentina is known for having good developers. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't expect that to be the case, right? So anyway, so I'm thinking this guy's it's Argentinian, and I was like, yeah, whatever, great. And then one day he goes, yeah, now I'm in Uruguay. I'm like, what are you like? I thought you were no, yeah, I just traveling. I'm just traveling, I'm living a nomad life. And I'm like, so you're not from Argentina? I said, no, I'm French. The accent was French all like for weeks, but it's like somehow I rationalize it. So basically, he's from a city that's basically very close to Italy. That's why he's half Italian, not because he's from Argentina. It's because from and uh, and that was like I was like for a day I was like, wow, it's like somebody told me Santa Claus is not real. When you have this conception in your head and it's not the case, but you should have seen it. But the point being, this guy is like very young, and what he does, he's an AI developer, meaning he has learned to code like 2 or 3 years ago, and he had been using AI tools and it's like so it's an AI native developer basically, right? And it's like it's almost as good as my developer that I've been doing for 20 years. They're kind of elite developers, right?
So do you mean
And it's
just so
like,
I'm like not losing the thread here? He's using
yeah,
AI to do the code for him. He's just prompting the AI, and the AI is writing the code. Is that what you mean by that?
correct. Now
Okay,
he knows coding. It's not like me that
right.
doesn't know code. He
So he
he
can
knows
code.
he could code by hand if he
Yeah,
had to,
right.
but it's super proficient in using these AI tools, which are getting better and better and better, right? And so I give you an example. So we had this web app that we built. Oh, we built because of Orange, because we
Yes.
we almost lost the business. We almost lost the mobile apps. I'm like, fuck, I need to build the web app immediately. And I don't remember who built it. Somebody else that I found on Orange Lab built it. It was okay, only messages. And also we built it internally. And then we found out that the language that we use was not the right language. And I'm like, okay, at some point, then we beat Orange. We didn't beat, we love Orange, if in case they're listening. We escaped the death by Orange.
So
And I'm
basically,
like, okay,
Orange were trying to sue you for trademark
well,
infringement. That was
it,
the
it,
story
it
back in those days.
yeah, yeah. Well, not sue. We're just trying to shut us down,
Right.
not even sue us. And they did for a while on Google, whatever. Anyway, so since we had this web app, I always like, wow, I would like to actually make it more performant, get more down to the web app, but it's like it's not a priority. I don't have a developer to do that stuff. I'd rather my developers being focused on the app, right? And then every now and then somebody told me, yes, I can build the web app. I was like, how much? Like $2,000 1 month. I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's not a priority. And then this guy, the Argentinian, I told him, hey, do you want to redo the web app from this language to this language? Yeah, sure. I said, I'll do it in 5 days. And he did in 5 days. So completely refactor, like a new language in 5 days and, very cheap. And I'm like, that's amazing. It's, for somebody like me that cannot code, but I have so many things to do, finding like developer that's like 10x developer, like you give stuff and they just do it and then they don't even bother you and they say, oh, by the way, it's ready. I said, wow. And that's because of AI. And so the web app is being rebuilt from scratch, super fast. And also I found designers, which I had, we used to have a designer, you remember Ralphie,
Hmm.
and then he left the project, I don't know, many years, I mean, not many years, but more than a year ago.
Hmm.
And so since then, I've been designing myself, and having the basis is not that difficult. And then I found this designer in Pakistan, uh, cheap, fast, quick, and I'm like, how much AI are you guys using? Oh, we use this and that. Like, okay, great. So basically, the cost of developers, the cost of designing, it's going almost to zero, which is for me is like paradise. And so the web is brand new, so it actually looks really nice. I'm very critical of design, and it's like this is one of the best web app I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if you've seen the new design. It's actually really nice. And so what you can do with the web app, something that actually you cannot do in the mobile app, you can type a city, and we'll show you people in that city. Obviously, it's all approximated. There's no KYC, so anonymous. And you can see all the events. And it's like you can type anything in the world and we'll show you all the events. And then we're about to launch. Actually, by the time this is out, we would have launched the Orange Pillar wallet, which is the fastest, the easiest to use, and the most beautiful wallet I ever seen. And now, why did we launch a wallet? I'm interviewing myself. You can take a break.
You can go for it.
So the reason why we built a wallet, because I didn't want to build a wallet because I have a philosophy that you don't want to distract the people using your product with things that are not part of the mission. So the mission of Orange Lab is find the Bitcoiners, local, and then go and hang out with them, right? Dating, networking,
connect in real life, and
go offline. Stop scrolling, stop listening to this podcast. Go to find a local pleb. Go to a meetup. Anyway, so what happened is this: we enabled Zaps when Apple was shutting down like Damus. I don't know if you remember. Damus is an Ulster client. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna build Zap in Orange Lab, right? Let's see what happens. So we built it. We got a bunch of sign up. However, you have to put your own LN URL, Lightning Network address, right? So you can get it from Wallet of Satoshi, from Primal, from Speed, from many places. And guess what? 80% of people in Orange Lab, which is now 10,000 people, have never done. They don't have a Lightning Network wallet. They don't know what it is. They don't know where to get it. They definitely don't know what is an LN URL. And so at the beginning, I was like, hey, by the way, if you add the LN URL, I'll send you some sats, right? What is it? How do I get it? So I would go, if you're in the US, you can download this because obviously West Associates being removed. If you're outside, you can download this, whatever. And then I said, okay. And at some point, I figure, I'm not going to onboard 10,000 people to the Lightning Network. And that's what gave me the impetus of building the wallet. And now, thanks to this new guy, the new developer, it's it's very quickly done. We're using LMBits, by the way. LMBits is amazing. I know you interviewed Ben many times. So we're using LMBits. It's Lightning only, not on chain. Back to the point that the fees are gonna go up. We don't want to get people send me a DM. Hey, I sent this payment. It never arrived. And I say, what fees did you pay? It's nightmare, right? So it's Lightning only. Obviously, it's custodial, because it has to be. Otherwise, you can get LNL. Super fast, super simple to use. And so we're going to be able to onboard, once we launch it, probably next week, 10,000 people to a Lightning Network overnight. Now, here's the interesting part. I was talking to an investor the other day, and he's like, why are you building a wallet? There's so many wallets. Okay, look, what is the biggest dating app in the world? Like, you're a dating app expert.
Yeah, the 48-year-old married guy with 4 kids.
Exactly.
Tinder, I'm guessing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tinder?
You'd be right if you only consider dating apps. The biggest dating app in the world is Instagram.
Okay.
Because of scale. They have 1 billion users, or maybe more. Yeah. And they have pictures. It's very, it's a great. More people have got married through Instagram than probably all the dating apps combined. Why? Although Instagram is not a dating app, right? Because with scale, you get this network. So I believe the biggest Bitcoin wallet in the world will not be a Bitcoin wallet, will be a social app because of scale. Meaning a Bitcoin wallet, it is not a company, it's a product. Now, of course, at the beginning, there's no Bitcoin wallet. Somebody has to build it, somebody has to make money. So it's a company. But I think the Bitcoin wallets are going to just get integrated into other apps. So there's there's a nice essay that Roy from Breeze wrote some time ago, which also one of the reasons why I wanted to read this wallet is like, we don't need more Bitcoin wallet. We need more apps using Bitcoin. Something like that. I'm going to find the right quote. Meaning Bitcoin wins once it's everywhere. Also, strategically, like in the US, there's no more wallets basically left over. They all left because the previous administration was very anti-crypto. And, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't have a wallet, right? A lot of Orange Club members. And so, yeah, we just want to become the biggest wallet in the world. Also, the other problem is that it's hard to make a business out of a wallet. It's economically not feasible. I think Mutiny shut down because there's no money to be made. We don't have to make money from a wallet. Like, we'll take a little commission, because we have to run the infrastructure, but we could do it for free, right? We don't have to make money off the wallet, and so we can provide a better product that you don't have to download an extra app. Because also people don't like that, right? So it's all in one app. So you can find Bitcoiners, you can zap them. Now, what's really cool, I was thinking that at night, because we have the approximate location of people, we could let you zap everybody in London, for example. Imagine I'm in Japan and I want to just zap people in London and I want to add a message. So you can send a message. Hey, whatever, I'm going to be in London next week. Hit me up, whatever. And you can so we can create this, I think, very novel use cases. Once everybody has a wallet, everybody has an address on Orange Club, right? Because we give them one. By the way, if you're listening and you already have a wallet, we won't change it. So you can use any address you want. If you don't have it, we'll give ours by default. If you want to use Primal, use Primal. We don't care. So we can. I think we will be able to enable these use cases that nobody else can do because we have the geolocation piece. Like zap everybody in the United States. Zap everybody that is single. Let's say we have a single flag at some point. I know you would love that. let's say we had like a women, man, whatever. Like zap everybody that has this word in their bio. Zap everybody there's a lifetime. I can go on and on and on. So there's actually a lot of use cases that I even didn't realize. That
I think the fun one. I remember we were on a call once, and we were talking about like what would be fun things we could achieve within the app. And I think I threw out the idea of, let's make flash mobs cool again. So you could do that now. So if you were to like, right, flash mob Bitcoin meetup here, London, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. I'm in town. Whoever comes. Yeah. So you could. That would just be a fun thing to do. And if you are on Orange Pill app, you just got zapped like, I don't know, 21 sats, and you've got the details. You're like, well, fuck, that'd be cool. I've got nothing to do. I'm going to go along and meet these people and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you can be supporting a business that's accepting Bitcoin as well. That's because you have the merchants built into the app, right? That's
we had the merchants now, yes, for actually 1 year now. We launched. Yeah, man, 1 year ago, 21st January 2024. Yeah, it's been a year. Yeah, we have merchants. So what you can do in the app, you can find local plebs, local Bitcoiners. You can find all the local events. By the way, we are the largest repository of Bitcoin-only events in the world because we have all the events that exist outside of Orange Club. We have algorithm scrapers that go and find events. Plus, we have the events that are only on Orange Club. For example, my meetup only exists in the Orange Club. And so we have, at any given time, there's like 400 events in the world. And these are Bitcoin only, so we do some vetting, we do some fancy algorithm. And then you have merchants, which, it's not a lot, but, they're growing, actually. They're growing. I think this year will grow much more. We have group chats, which a little bit of distraction, but the group chat there's a UK group chat. There's going to be a London group chat. I just hire city ambassador that knows your wife.
I know her.
And then we're gonna have so people. So the goal of the app is always been the same. All the people, all the events, all the merchants that are local to you. That's kind of the mission of the app. So now we have 15,000 members, give or take. And I think I don't know what you think, but how many Bitcoin maxis do you think there are in the world today?
I really don't know. I really don't
Okay,
know because
of
like
course, nobody
you
knows,
go to,
but
if you go to a big conference, let's say like there's 10,000 people at a Bitcoin conference, what percentage of those are maxis in air quotes? It's not that high.
right.
It's pretty. What's your estimation?
If it's 1 million, I'll be shocked.
Oh yeah, very shocked. Maxis.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like me, like you and I, like podcasts, Bitcoin only.
Yeah.
No, obviously not everybody
That
goes to a conference.
there are few, Matteo. There's a reason for that meme. We are few. But
Well,
we
yeah.
grow each
So
day, but yeah,
exactly.
we are few.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think maybe it's a 500,000. So we basically have 3% of all the Bitcoin maxi, 4%. I don't know. Let's call it 5%. So we still have a long way to grow. We have 90, and also, of course, the thing that is about Bitcoin, it's a one-way journey. Like I don't know anybody that was a Bitcoin maxi that they said, you know what, I'm gonna go back to fiat. Like once you understand how fiat world works, there's no way to come back. There's nothing.
There's a few outliers, Roger, Udi,
But they're
Eric,
not. Yeah, but they're shitcoiners. But they're
shitcoiners.
not. They're not saying Bitcoin doesn't work. They're still
Right.
Bitcoiners as well. They're not. Oh, so what I'm trying to say, like you can become vegan, then go back to not. That's what I'm talking about. Once you understand how the field world works and you become a Bitcoin maxi, you might also do shitcoining, but you're never gonna be back to say, oh yeah, crypto is fake, Bitcoin is fake, it's gonna fail, the government is gonna ban it, fiat is great. That's really I don't think that's ever happened. So every day somebody listens to this podcast and they become maxi or they start the journey to become maxi, or whatever you want to call them, right? And the number is only going to grow. Like there's no way the number is going to shrink, and there is no way the number, because again, once you pass a certain, like there's like an horizon, right? Once you pass like a black hole, there's an horizon. Once you pass the horizon, there's no coming back.
No, there certainly isn't, and that's why number of people go up. Like that's
Right.
the foundational metric, and that means number of people go up on Orange Pill app as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we're growing. November was our best month ever. We're growing 750 paid members. So, there's no free trial. You have to pay. Reason being because we don't want the scammers, the spammers, the shitcoiners, the bots, the bad actors, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I hate advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I hate it. Well, it's not that I hate it. I understand. There's a role in society. But when you really think about advertising, it's also it would pervert the incentive structure of Orange Blab. Because now I want you to find somebody and go offline. The more you do that, the more successful is the app. If I
Right.
was doing ads,
So it's
I would.
antithetical. I'm building an app to make sure people get in touch with each other and meet up and go out and leave their phones at home. Like that.
No, but it's literally like it's diametrically opposite. Like if you do ads, you want people to stay in front of the screen as
Mm-hmm.
much as possible because you're selling their attention. I want people to stay in front of the screen as little as possible. So even if I love ads, let's say, it still wouldn't make sense to do ads, which by the way, doing ads, it means tracking somebody's data,
Mm-hmm.
gathering as much data as possible, creating this user profile, maybe using your real name, another area, I know how often using the app, blah, 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 blah. And then sell that data to the highest bidder, which sometimes is the government.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not directly, but the government, NSA, they have all these shadow companies. I don't have to tell you this, but so advertising is really, if you're a big corner, you should really hate advertising. It's the last thing. So I always ask people, oh, this app should be free. I was like, okay, would you rather me selling your data? Nobody say, oh, yeah, it's a good. Nobody ever said, yeah, that's a good idea. So there is a fee, which, by the way, also creates this magical place because online everything is free. So even also there's a lot of spam, right? Let alone X. And on Orange Blood, we have no spam because spammers don't want to pay $5 and then to get banned, right? Because they're banned because people tell these guys are spam. Like the other day, somebody was Mr. Catherine, and in the bio, I can teach you to okay, obviously, ban immediately. So yeah, so it works because there's a curation aspect to Orange Blood. So when you talk with somebody in the app, they're into Bitcoin, they want to meet you, they want to socialize. Yeah, it's a very, as far as I know, Daniel, I don't think there's ever been an app like this that completely payable, no free trials at all, localized, and it works because Bitcoiners, I think instinctively we realize, if you don't pay, you're the product, and so it works. And also it works because finding Bitcoiners is very hard. Like it's almost impossible. Let's say, if you go to Sainsbury,
it's such a challenge.
Yeah.
And so this solves.
Yeah.
It's not a want; it's a need, right? You're solving somebody's need. It's like I need to find Bitcoiners. Like I've gone beyond the point of I want to hang out with Bitcoiners. It's like no, I now need to hang out with Bitcoiners because I am going stir crazy in Normiland. You reach that point.
Right. Yeah, there's actually a tweet that I was gonna make, but I haven't wrote it yet. It's like we all want more friends, right? Everybody wants more friends or better friends, or in some way we want to expand our network, but we don't have time. We have families, we have jobs, we have fires, whatever. Time is very limited. So what we do as humans, we use filters. So one filter could be the church, right? People that go to the church, they always have this strongly belief. Another filter could be, I really like Daniel. Daniel is my friend. If he introduced me to somebody, most likely I'm gonna be able to, become friend with that guy. So we use like the gym is under filter, whatever.
Your sports team.
Yeah,
Classic.
exactly. Yeah.
Who do you support? Oh, the LA Lakers. Yeah, me too. Blah 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 blah. Like, it's
yeah. Although sports, I don't think is a great filter because you can get like sport is such a broad appeal that you might get the ultra liberal and the ultra conservative. That they might just have one thing in common, which is this: if you go to church, it's a better filter. If you go to like France, it's a better filter. And then you have Bitcoin as a filter, which obviously is probably the best filter ever, because it's such a small niche, right? However, there is no let's call it segment of society that have as much noise as we have in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So the example I always give is this, right? Imagine I tell you, Daniel, hey Daniel, I love soccer. And you tell me, I love soccer too. Then I show up and I want to play basketball. It can't happen, right? Nobody's gonna ever do that. However, in Bitcoin, I could say, yes, I love Bitcoin. And you say, oh, I also love Bitcoin. And then either neither of us are Bitcoin Maxi, or, we are also in NFT and Solana and whatever. It only happens in Bitcoin because obviously because it's a new industry, it's a new world, whatever. And also because there's like 10,000 shitcoins, like, They're
Hmm.
trying to steal your attention. Coinbase, how many times I sent somebody to Coinbase? Hey, I've obviously only talk about Bitcoin, right? Even my uncle, hey, here's Bitcoin, here's why I should go. Oh, I bought Solana. Like, why? I didn't tell you to buy Solana. So it's very the noise level in the Bitcoin world is like so big that Orange Pillar provide an extra filter. So you have Bitcoin as filter number one, like imagine a funnel, and then Orange Pillar it's an even stronger filter. And so that's why, we have these incredible stories, the NBA guy that was inviting people to the games, people getting married, the pilot, I don't know if you saw the documentary, right? The pilot was taking people for free. Like this thing don't happen normally. You need some kind of like a coordination slash curation technology that allows you to find. So, in Bitcoin we say don't trust, verify. But when it comes to like social, it's literally the opposite. If you tell me, oh yes, I've been to Madeira. Let's say I don't know anything about you. I know you're in Bitcoin and you've been to Madeira to the conference. Like I could probably give you the house. I'll give you the keys of my house, and I would have no worries that you're like stealing from me. Like, as funny enough, speaking of Madeira and killed the house, so there was this conference in Madeira like 2 years ago. And Madeira is an island in the middle of the ocean, blah 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 blah. And I had to book an Airbnb, and and then I realized my flight was landing at like midnight. So I told the host, "Hey, I'm gonna show up at 1. You better give me these keys, because otherwise I'm gonna sleep on the beach, right?" I was like, "I'm not giving the keys at 1." Obviously, I'm exaggerating. Say, "I'm not giving you the keys at 1." Like figure out a way. So I found somebody on Orange Lab, because Orange Club has the events, and the events have group chats. So I just went to the Madeira conference group chat and said, hey guys, if anybody's in Madeira before me and would love to help me out, here's my problem. So I found this guy that I never spoke before and never met before in my life. I say, okay, here's the address. If you can get the keys, also, he's not gonna wait for me at 1. So he had to put it somewhere. Like he literally, there's a park, he sent me a picture. So I landed at midnight, middle of the night, took a taxi, went to the address, never been to Madeira before. I'm literally like, the moon is shining, and I'm on my knees in a little grass trying to find these keys. Like, if somebody didn't know, I was going to say, what is this guy doing? Anyway, so I found the keys. But the point being, I give the keys, obviously, it's an Airbnb, whatever, but I give the keys of my Airbnb to a complete stranger only because I found them on Orange Club, right? And so it's a very interesting behavior that we say don't trust, verify, but when
Hmm.
it comes to the people, it's basically the opposite.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's because of the you can call it the great filter.
Yeah.
Actually, I might have to rename the slogan Orange Pill Up, the great filter.
Run with it.
What do you think? What do you think?
Rebrand. You can rebrand
Re-
whenever you want, right? Yeah, it's and Knut's spoken about this before as well, right? Because you're building up such reputational clout with people that it's yours. Like you only lose your integrity once.
Mm,
It's gone.
right. Yes.
And
It's like your virginity.
it's really yes, it's really refreshing that this group of people, for whatever reason, sound money has brought them all together, and instantly that
Yeah.
you can trust them on such a higher level, higher plane than you'd have ever have thought of before. And again, this is all like we were talking about earlier, like this part of this psychological and mental mind shift that everybody's going through.
Yeah, it's I mean, I have so many stuff. I mean, the Nico, the couch. There's a now. Oh, did you see in the documentary,
Yes.
Julian and his girlfriend, they got stranded.
Yep.
It almost like looks fake if you don't know it's true, right? They got stranded in New York. They don't know anybody. there's a group chat for New York, right? And they say, hey guys, we're stranded. And there's a woman just signed up for the app like a few hours before. I'm like, okay, this is like a tradition. If you sign up for the app, you got to, yeah, you might have guests on your couch. And she, also, if you're a woman, you're a little bit more sensitive, right? And she's like, yeah, guys, come to my house and come to my apartment in New York and stay, a night or two. And how would you do that? It's like, unless you know
It's
somebody, it's like, you're not going to go on Twitter and say, hey, guys,
yeah.
I mean, you might, but who knows what's going to happen?
Well, you just hope a Bitcoiner would respond on Twitter, but you have no idea, right? But yeah, that documentary was awesome, and you're right. You're
Yeah, that
sitting
was
there thinking, man, they could have just scripted this, but I know they didn't, and it's just
no,
so
no, of
good.
course. You wouldn't be able to script it if you want. It's like, it's such a crazy story, and the way it happens, like the timing, the moment she just signed up. Um, yeah, so sometimes my wife, she's not really Bitcoin, she has Bitcoin because of me, but I'm like, it's kind of like the Jews. We're like the Jews, the Jews of money. I don't know. I guess the Jews are really Jews of money, but so for example, in New York, which is sometimes called as Jew York. I don't know if you know that.
I
There's
didn't.
so many Jews. There's so many
Okay.
Jews, but what happened is the Jews in New York, they used to only make loans to each other, only rent to each other, only do business with each other. And now I think 1/3 of New York real estate is owned by a Jew, right? Because there's such a close knit group, and they really like only work with each other, blah blah blah. And I'm like, Bitcoiners is kind of the same. Although I don't think we had that kind of relationship yet. Like, oh, I only do business with Bitcoiners, right? But if we did, let's say, imagine how faster the space would grow. Like you only hang out with Bitcoiners, you only invite Bitcoiners. I'm not saying we should do that, but in a way, I kind of do that now because now I have a, what's funny? I have a weekly meetup. Think about this. You go to meetups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go every week?
No, ours is monthly here.
Okay, so think about this. I have a weekly meetup on Saturday morning at 9. And now I get 10 people almost every week. And last time there was a guy, I'm like, hey, like a new guy, whatever. So where are you based, right? Oh, I'm in Corona. Like Corona is not even Los Angeles. It's like an hour away. So this guy must wake up at 7. I don't know what he does. Um, and and then it's a night. It's I think I'm probably the only person on the planet to have a weekly meetup on a Saturday morning at 9. Pretty sure, because I can just check the database of people that have events. And now it's like 10 people, 11, sometimes 12, sometimes it's 3. But yeah, people like Bitcoiners really want to be with each other. That's you know that's the point of the app, I guess.
Yeah,
That's the solution that we provide is like, how do you find Bitcoiners? Download this app and connect with nearby people.
and it's working. It's I mean, hands down working. The evidence is there. Just at our meetup, I told you guys about a month ago. Yeah, just before Christmas, we had an American couple turn up. They landed, I
Yeah,
think, the day before. They found the
yeah.
meetup on the app. They contacted the guy that was organizing it. He's like, "Yeah, it's going ahead." Like, brilliant. And they just showed up and come along, and they were absolutely astounded to be, "Oh shit, there's 10 of you guys here? Like what? Like this is amazing."
It's like
Uh,
aliens. It's like
they get all
aliens,
the
right?
they get all the local knowledge. They download all of that. They meet interesting people, and this was like the first or second night in in the UK. So then they were going to go to different cities. So they're already checking the app for different cities for other meetups, and
Yeah.
it's a brilliant use case for it.
Yeah, yeah. If you travel, it's even better because you really don't know anybody. And like one time I went to New York. I used to live in New York, but all my friends have left almost. I went to New York and I DM everybody. So the way to do it, by the way, if you're listening, when you land, just DM everybody in 10, 20, depends how big is the city. Hey, I'm in New York for 3 days. Do you want to meet? Just do it because people they want to do that. That's why they pay, right? So don't be shy. So anyway, I DM everybody, and basically in 3 days I organized a meetup. 6 people showed up. We met? We met at Grand Central. Anyway, and then one of the guy was incubated at Wolf. Wolf is a
Yep,
Bitcoin accelerator slash incubator.
it's
I don't
Ross
know if you've ever been
Stevens.
to their,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you've ever been to their offices. Like I lived in New York, and I was like, wow, this is one of the best view of New York I ever seen. So they have, so we went to this office. Hey man, by the way, let me show you my office. Like, okay, here we go. Like a start, like a struggling startup. We're gonna go in
Hmm.
this like underground office with rats. And it's like, yeah, it's up here. So we went through. So we went like 75 floor. It's like 360 degrees view of New York in Manhattan. And I'm like, I would never been here if, there was no way for me to come, obviously there's security and that kind of stuff. And the only way I was able to get up there and have this beautiful view and, is because I don't think because I'm the founder, they want to see me, they just want to meet Bitcoiners, right? And yeah, so you unlock these unique experiences thanks to Bitcoin slash Bitcoiners, like I mean, the NBA guy, I'm sure people now are tired of hearing the story, but was truly amazing. He would just land to a city, open the app, see who's nearby, DM, DM, DM. Hey, do you want free tickets to the game tomorrow, the next day, whatever it may be? Courtside ticket, which is thousands of dollars. And then after the game, the guy would just go back on court, would tell the security, they're with me, like the family, whatever, and they would be on court, an NBA, which is not allowed, obviously, and just have like a big meetup with this NBA, which he won a championship with LeBron, not just an NBA guy, like an NBA champion, and his first investment. And then when I asked him, actually, I thought it was a scammer, right? Because he joined, literally, he joined when we launched because he was playing against the Lakers. We launched in Santa Monica, Los Angeles. So he was in town for the game, and he came to the conference. He downloaded the app. I'm Italian. I have no idea about NBA. Only like LeBron and what is that? Stephen Curry. I know 3 people, right? So somebody said, "Hey man, there's a scammer that pretending to be an NBA guy that's trying to get people to games." I'm like, "Gee, we just launched. There's already a scammer." And so then I open his profile, and I don't know anything about NBA. So I Google it. Oh yeah, it's but it could be fake, right? So then I say, hey man, who the hell are you? Like, no disrespect, but like, who are you? And he said, yeah, blah blah blah. Obviously, very humble guy. And then we get on a phone call for like an hour, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, look, I have like hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram and Twitter and all the social media. If I post who wants to come to the game for free tickets, I would get like 1,000 DMs. No idea if the people are actually in town. And most importantly, I have no idea. Obviously, it's never done it. I have no idea if they're into Bitcoin. And this is when we launched. We had like, I don't know, 300, 400 members. Um, yeah, so that's like maybe the coolest story beside the wedding that I wasn't invited.
Yes. Yes. I thought I was going to officiate the first wedding on Orange Pod.
Yes, exactly. We need to get another wedding. I'm sure it's
I'll
gonna
have to
happen.
officiate the second one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm gonna be
Well,
just
I don't know what powers
guest.
are vested in me, but like I'll come for the party and just to hang with the
Yeah, we have
Bitcoiners.
to do it. We have to do it. At least one wedding we have to go and shot. That's it. That only one, then that's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been like I say, mate. It's been great to be along for the ride, and really looking forward to 2025 and the wallet coming out. And people playing around with it and testing it and talking about it, sharing experiences. Are you going to be any conferences? What do you have planned?
Yeah. So Las Vegas, the biggest you have to go. Also from Los Angeles, like
Right,
easy.
it's your
I
backyard.
was looking at I was looking at the flight. It's like $70.
You got zero
You
excuse.
don't even, man, you don't even have dinner in Los Angeles for $70.
Yeah.
In any case, yeah. So I actually have a bet. I don't have a bet. I have a pinky promise with Anders.
Yep.
I don't know if you know Anders.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
very
his
well.
house.
He lost his house. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
gutted
So
for
the
him.
so when Bitcoin was 60,000,
Hmm.
we said if by the time that was like a year ago, if by the time if by the time of the conference 2025 Bitcoin is double, we're gonna fly private. We're gonna charter a jet, right? Which is not as it's a few thousand. It's not that expensive. But in any case, um, so maybe I won't fly with $70. But in any case,
I bet.
maybe we do a bus. We do a
I was gonna
bus.
say, even if it's if it's doubled, even if it's 150,000, 180,000, you'll still be eyeing the $70 flights. Should we just do that anyway? Because $70 is a lot
Yeah.
cheaper, and we'll just
Yeah,
keep the
no, but you
sats.
gotta, man, you gotta. So here's a lesson I've learned. During the 2021 bull run, I didn't have the app. I wasn't even really a Bitcoin max, I guess, whatever. But I had, some Bitcoin, and at some point I'm like, maybe I should get a Ferrari because I'm too old for Lamborghini. Lamborghini is like you need to be 15 to get a Lamborghini. If you're over 30 and you have a Lamborghini, it's not good.
Right.
I was like, So I was like walking down the street and there was a Ferrari, and I was like, a Ferrari is like 3 Bitcoins, 4 Bitcoins, use maybe 3 Bitcoin, whatever. Maybe I should get a Ferrari, right? And then I said, no, but I'm a Bitcoin maxi. Or I said, you can do it when Bitcoin is 100K, right? That was you can do it. Now, as we know, Bitcoin never got to 100K. In fact, it went down to 16K. And then, launch. And I'm like, if I had got a Ferrari
Mhm.
for 3 Bitcoin, let's say, it's 100, yeah, 200K, right? If I got a Ferrari for 3 Bitcoin when Bitcoin was 60 something, now, 6 months later, I could have sold the Ferrari back for, let's say, 10 Bitcoin. I would have driven the Ferrari for like 6 months and 1 year. I would have enjoyed, and now I would have made more Bitcoin.
Hmm.
But because, I'm a Bitcoin master, you can't spend the Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm not saying you should do that. But
I've thought it's funny because I've thought about that before as well. Because the more cycles you're in, the more you understand the blow off top.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when you see the blow off top, if you can feel it, so I
yeah.
was thinking more along the lines of, you could buy a beautiful. So the trick is to buy something that is going to also hold its value in fiat terms. But
For
something
like
you can
1 year.
can
Yeah.
also enjoy and appreciate. So you're
Yes,
looking at a classic car would be a perfect example.
exactly.
A beautiful watch would be another
Yeah,
classic example.
yeah.
And you could own the thing, or you could even, if you really wanted to, you could say get five incredible, beautiful watches, wear a
Hmm.
different one each time.
Yeah,
And then when the time came, you keep one, you sell the other four. And because of the price differentiation, you've enjoyed them all that time. And now
yeah.
you still have more Bitcoin.
Correct.
it's, it's a head fuck. But
Yeah,
I've
nothing is
not
gonna
done it.
draw.
I've not done it
Yeah.
because I've only had this thought going into this next bull run. And it's like, huh.
Look, nothing is gonna go down 80%. Nothing goes
Right.
down 80% in 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
unless nothing goes down there. So whatever you buy, really, you can buy like a toothbrush. It's gonna be worth more than minus 80%. I don't know who's gonna buy, but yeah, if you buy something that is liquid enough, like like a car, you can just go to a dealership and give it back, or a house, I guess, is kind of liquid, although it takes a long time.
or a
Yeah, something that
really
is liquid.
like a really nice case of wine or whiskey or something, and you have one or
Yeah,
two bottles. You don't go crazy,
yeah.
and then you
No,
roll them back out. You're like, well, I tried that now. I've tried that bottle of Petrus,
it's
or like,
the problem is the timing. The problem is like timing the market is not
right.
it's not as easy as we make it sound. But
It's not, and I'm sure a lot of people
although,
are like laughing at our
yeah,
ridiculous ideas, and some others are probably thinking, hmm, it depends where you are in your journey. Like I said,
yeah, yeah,
you've
yeah,
got to
yeah.
be a
Although I can tell you, when you want to buy the Ferrari, it's probably the top.
yes,
It's probably
that's
the
the
top.
signal. Yeah.
That's the thing. I can remember, like, we were gonna uh beside the Ferrari, I also wanted to buy a house, which I promised I would never buy houses anymore. But I was like, oh, this house is nice, it's only that much, whatever. We went to tour the house, and I'm like, I'm sure I can go back and look at the emails when I emailed the broker, and it's probably like 1 week before the top. Like, actually, you can time the market if you are like not smart enough, if you're like aware enough to realize
Yeah.
what your brain is doing.
Your
And
inner
yeah, you have to counter trade
yes.
your feelings, basically. Uh, but yeah, I don't recommend it. But I also don't recommend never spend your Bitcoin. Like, then why do you have it? To look at it?
Mm,
Like, what's the point?
mhm.
Like, so by the way, I started running in a book because everybody has to run a book. I learned that. If you're a Bitcoin maxi, you have to have a podcast
Yeah.
and you have to write a book.
Have to start a company, have to wear blue blockers,
Yeah,
give up seed oils. Yeah.
correct. So I started writing a book like a couple of weeks ago, like during the fires. And I think it will be it's gonna be one of those books that is either very smart or very retarded. It's like we're not like I'm not going like for the middle. But one of the things that I'm gonna, one of the cons is that, so I'm sure you have said maybe once or twice, one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin.
Mm,
Have you ever said that?
mhm.
It's like the most retarded thing I've heard in my life. Now we're not gonna have this debate, but the point being, you could say $1 Bolivian is $1 Bolivian, but nobody says that.
Mhm.
Because money can only be measured against its purchasing power, right?
Mhm.
Like, Bitcoin is money. Money per se is not worth anything unless you can trade it for something else.
Mhm.
Store of value means somebody has to create the value. Medium of exchange, it means something needs to be exchanged. Unit of account, like, Bitcoin is only worth for what you can buy with, either potentially or real. If Bitcoin goes to zero, nobody's going to say, oh, but one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. I mean, I guess people would say more because it's kind of like a psychological coping. But, anyway, so I'm reading this book, and yeah, buy a Ferrari. Don't worry.
is
Buy a
that is
Ferrari.
that the name of the book? Buy a Ferrari.
Is that the subtitle?
Well,
No,
you
I
are
have the time.
Italian after all.
Yeah, I have to exactly. I have to buy a Ferrari at some
It's
point.
in your destiny. So
It's in my dad. By the way, Lamborghini is not Italian anymore, so I wouldn't buy even if I was 25. It's
there you go.
Volkswagen.
It's only gonna be the Ferrari, Matteo. There's only one
Exactly.
color it could be.
Correct. Orange.
All right, mate. Final question. If you had one last
Yes.
orange pill left to give to somebody, who would you give it to and why?
Yeah. So last time I gave it to Elon Musk. I don't think it worked. I mean, the answer is quite obvious. Trump, right? Obviously, which is kind of half, let's say. Uh, you know what? My father-in-law,
Yeah.
which runs a bank. It's a vice chairman of a bank. Obviously, doesn't like Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually banned from talking about Bitcoin at holidays,
Right.
kinda. But yeah, I will give it to him so I can talk about Bitcoin more.
Love it. And I'm sure he'd like a go in the Ferrari, which your Bitcoin will
Oh
end up
yeah.
buying.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
All right, mate. Well, well? I know the best way. If you want to get hold of Matteo, join Orange Collab
Yes.
and send him a DM. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
I actually, it's obviously it's always open. I check it all the time. The easiest way to reach me is definitely Orange Collab. On Orange Collab, obviously it's my name and last name. I have a picture of Tom from MySpace, remember? With my face on top of it.
Mhm.
Somebody made it for me, like when we launched. Yeah, orangefullapp.com is the website. You can just download the app on Apple Store, Google Play Store. It's a beautiful web app. We're gonna give you the most beautiful wallet you've ever seen, and you'll find all the plebs nearby to build your Bitcoin local network, which one day, I mean, it's already very useful, but one day it might become even more useful than you can imagine.
For sure it will. Right. Thanks for coming on, mate. Thanks for everything you're doing for Bitcoin.
My pleasure. Thank you.